Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, Emmy Award-winning actor, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision. Especially when you're galloping side saddle down a countryside road on a horse named Archibello, who seems to have only one speed, high. And pulling on his reins only seems to encourage him to go even faster. So, of course, my body hurts and my joints ache, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life. Oh, Archibello!
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
As soon as this scene wraps, I'm going to kiss the ground, thank Archibello for his outstanding performance, feed him a carrot, and visit brainhealth.gov.
Find out how you can make the most of your brain as you age at brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of people with pets say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Turns out that those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number, 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddles or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months old. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Located somewhere within the great grand state of New Hampshire. Here it is on Hump Day, Wednesday, January number 3 in the year of our Lord 2018 now. Yes, once again, Happy New Year. Here we are in the third day of a brand new year. And if you want to speak to me, you can still get through on Skype. You just have to go to Rod Eccles on Skype. And that is where you will pick me up, I guess is how they say it. Just look for Rod Eccles over there on Skype. Later this morning, in about an hour, the second hour of the program, we have Agent 0010 with his intel report coming up. It's just going to be a scorcher today. I know as cold as it is outside, it is going to be a scorcher today. Here within the studio, within those of you who are listening to the program, you're going to find yourself a little bit warmed up. Well, speaking of being warmed up, it's still cold outside. Anybody else notice that? Or is it just me? Yes, the good old wonderful liberal left still believe that that we have wonderful global warming out there, or is it climate change? I don't know. Don't particularly care, but they all seem to believe that that we still have somehow we have this wonderful thing called global warming. And it doesn't exist out there. It really doesn't. But anyway, here it is. It is the temperature. It actually is supposed to warm up today. Get into warming up. It gets into the 20s today. That's where it's supposed to be. And it is. Last night it got as warm or as cold as 8 below zero. That's -8. And as I was out this morning, and it didn't feel all that cold because they have this real feel thing. You know what that is. It's what it's supposed to feel like, regardless of what the temperature is. Well, the temperature according to the weather service here, I do believe at the Concord Airport, is -4 degrees right now as we speak, -4. But it's supposed to feel like it's 6 degrees. Now I was out there earlier this morning, and it was around -6, 6 below zero. But it didn't. Well, I was only out there for a brief period of time, and the sun is shining, so that all helps it not feel. And there's no wind. For the first time, and I don't know, about a week, the air outside is dead calm, which means we're expecting snow tomorrow. That's what usually happens around here. When it gets dead calm, it usually within a 24-hour period after the dead calm, we get a rainstorm or a snowstorm. It's just kind of lulling us into a nice sense of peacefulness, I guess, is what you could say. But yeah, we get this. It's a dead calm out there. There's no wind. The sun is shining, so it feels warmer on your skin and on your face than -4. But hey, we have this wonderful global warming going on, so I guess maybe that's what they're going by, how it feels, because we all know that the liberal left is touchy-feely. They don't give a damn about facts. It's all about touchy-feely. So if it feels warmer outside, then that must mean that it is doing what? Oh, yeah, global warming. It must be getting warmer out there. In any case, don't want to harp on that this morning, but it is. There is some issues going on out there. America's power grid is showing some signs of strain during this brutal cold. Now, folks, we get this all the time. And they try to make it sound like it is due to global climate change. No, the straining on our power grid has nothing to do with climate change. It has everything to do with us not investing properly into our power grid system. Now, I have said this over, where is it? I saw Georgia, I think. Is it Georgia? Yeah, don't see if it. Somebody, there's a state that has approved the building of a new nuclear power generating plant, the first one in decades, evidently. Now I am pro nuclear power. I don't have a problem with nuclear power. The problem I have with building this plant is that they are still doubling down on building these major centralized mega power producing plants. That's old-fashioned and it's inefficient. And at the same, now this is something that I got a wind of last week during the break, which is why I didn't bring it to you, which is now why I'm having trouble finding it. But along with that, there are some people out there who are advocating what I have said. We need to decentralize our power grid for a number of reasons. It's better efficiency. It makes it more difficult for anybody to take down our power grid when you decentralize it. It's a cleaner system because you don't have to have these huge, massive power plants, dotting the landscape with wires going all over the place. And there's more to pollution, folks, than just what comes out of the smokestack of a power plant. There's other things. And there are a ton of reasons to decentralize and start building smaller, more localized power plants all around the country. It also means that you can be more localized. Now, I get that there is a certain kind of efficiency when it comes to mass production, but when it comes to energy, it loses a lot. Do you realize now? A lot of Americans, a lot of people. I don't care. It's not just Americans. I don't care where you live. A lot of people do not realize that there's a lot of electric power that is lost by transmitting electricity over long distances over power lines. Yeah, it's lost. It's lost in the form of resistance, and that resistance turns into heat and electromagnetic waves and everything. In other words, the reality is, by the time from the point that the electricity is produced to the time it gets to usually the first transformer station, which could be, miles and miles and miles away, you're not going to read the same amount of electricity, the same amount of power. By the time it gets to that transfer station, there is a big drop. Now, this is just scientific fact. There's no. Now, I don't want people thinking, well, geez, there's Rod. He's falling into the left's trap. No, I'm not. I'm just using scientific fact here. The fact is that old-fashioned, giant, mega, centralized power-producing plants are antiquated. They're inefficient, and they're easier targets. And when something happens and the power grid gets strained, you get one station that goes down or one station that... Well, take a look at the Atlanta airport. They're using one mega system to feed the Atlanta airport. What happened to the Atlanta airport recently? It went dark, basically, because they had no backup system. There were no smaller systems feeding into it. It's just one big, giant system. It's easy to take out. I don't know what else I need to say about this. No, we don't need to build... Again, I don't have an issue with nuclear power, but we don't need to build giant nuclear power plants. We don't need to build giant gas-fired power plants. We don't need to build any more giant coal-fired power plants. We don't need to build any more giant wood-burning or wood-fired power plants. We just don't need to build any more giant centralized power plants. They need to be more localized. We need to reduce the I shouldn't say reduce the footprint. We need to expand the footprint of the grid so it makes it more difficult for anybody to take out our system. And so there's plenty of backup. So what happened in Atlanta over the holidays does not happen again. When are our politicians and our energy producers going to wake up to this fact? Not to mention, because of today's technology, it can actually be cheaper to build smaller plants. Because they're all looking at the old-fashioned way, the economies of mega. That's why so many companies used to merge, because there was economies of scale, they said. Well, at some point, it goes the other way. And it becomes more expensive. It becomes the bigger the juggernaut becomes, the slower it gets, the less maneuverability it gets, the less flexible it is. And then when something happens to the main part of it, it tremendously affects all the smaller parts. So when something happens to a major power plant, it affects everybody. When you have a larger system, a larger footprint with a bunch of smaller power plants dotted all over the place, and they can be cleaner, not to mention they're not going to be as much of a big eyesore in the landscape, and one of them goes down, what happens? Not much, because you have a bunch of others that can kick it up a notch and take care of the problem until the problem is fixed. When you have one major power source and that goes down, what happens? Yeah, everybody's suffering. We don't need bigger... I don't know why people aren't listening. Well, maybe they are, because now we're starting to... as I said, there are people out there who are taking my position on smaller power generating systems and stations. You can call them neighborhood power plants if you want. We'll call them neighborhood power. I'm not saying that you just build a power plant on every block or in every neighborhood, but you can call them neighborhood power plants. They're smaller. We've got a few of them here in New Hampshire, and I'm sure that you've probably got a few of them near you. They're small. You notice them. They're smaller. They fit into the landscape better. They're not really obtrusive. And they don't, they're not capable of producing enough power to light half of, say, Boston, 300,000. I mean, they'll only do a few thousand houses, but that's what we need. We need more of that. Because when we have a local power plant here in Bow, New Hampshire, when that's down for maintenance, We don't notice the ill effects because there are a couple of other smaller power plants that kick it up a notch to take the place. So if something were to happen to the power plant in Bow, most of us here in that serviceable area wouldn't notice it. But if they want to build this giant power grid coming out of Canada, hydroelectricity coming out of Canada, and they want to march these high tension power lines down the middle of our state from north to south, in order to send power down into Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and I'm thinking, and add it to the power grid. And I'm thinking that is the most ridiculous, asinine thing I've ever heard of. And yet there are people that are behind it. Why? Not because it's coming from Canada. I don't care about that. And it's hydroelectric, so it's clean, sure. But it's inefficient and it's ugly. And in this neighborhood in the Northeast, when we get ice storms every freaking year, it is a major problem just waiting to happen. Because they want to stick those stupid electric lines up in the air in these big, huge towers. And those are some of the things that come down first, by the way. And they're the hardest to repair because they're so big, they're so tall, and those lines are so freaking heavy. It's not like your local power line. A tree comes down on the local power line, and it's pretty damn easy for them to put it back up. You talk about these high tension things, and these things are 100 feet in the air. They're big, they're huge, they're ugly. The lines are, it's a lot of power, and these guys got to be super careful. I mean, they touch the wrong line at the wrong time, even with all that equipment on, and they get instantly fried up there. And yet, this is what they want to build. No. They're ugly, they're inefficient, they're vulnerable to natural and man-made disasters, and it doesn't help us. But you have some people who still believe that the mega power generating systems and transferring that power over hundreds of miles is the way to go. That's not the way to go, folks. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not. We'll be back. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Around the town when folks are snacking,
bells to brand, you'll find them packing. The
great taste tells. If it's well, it's swell. At parties, dinner, or when you're lunching,
Bell's the brand that gets you crunching.
the great taste tells. If it's well, it's swell.
The potato chip that's made today is fresh today to be crisp today. So dip away, eat them any old way, and let the chips fall where they may.
In the bag or boxed in the pack,
Bell's the one that keeps you coming back.
'cause great taste tells. If it's well, it's swell. Bell, swell.
I got this story here, and I was debating whether or not I should wait for it, because I got some more sex scandal news for you, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the program. But I think I'll just drop this one right here for now. USA Today is reporting that there's a British man, an Englishman in Derby, England, who has been released from jail because he's been proven innocent after 3 years of being in jail. He was accused of rape, convicted of rape, and he's been in jail for 3 years of rape that he said he did not commit. And he's been proven innocent and released from prison because of Facebook. Well, now, folks, you got to understand. Some people are saying, really, Facebook? Finally they did something right. Well, Facebook is also the reason why he went to jail in the first place. Evidently, there was Danny Kaye. Yes, I know. Not the famous Danny. This Danny Kaye is only 26. He's been in jail since 2013, or was jailed in 2013, after being accused of rape. Now, this is going back to 2013 now. He was convicted of rape following the sexual encounter the year before that in 2012, according to local media. Now, the key to his conviction were Facebook messages that appeared to show him apologizing for sex without the consent of the woman. Now, as it turned out, the woman that accused him of rape had selectively deleted messages on Facebook in an apparent effort to prove her version of the story. It was only when Danny Kaye's sister-in-law found an archived version of the messages on his Facebook account that he was able to get the conviction overturned. Now, I don't know why they didn't find it before. I didn't even know you could find an archive pages of your Facebook account. Well, what good is deleting stuff if it's all archived? I've told people this before. Don't put stuff up there, because once it's up there, it's always up there no matter what you do. You can delete all you want to. It's still there. And there you have it. A man's rape conviction has been overturned because messages that were deleted and found by this guy's sister-in-law in an archived version of his Facebook page actually proved his innocence. That the sexual encounter was consensual on both parts. This is unbelievable stuff. I mean, a poor man has to, now don't, I know I'm stepping in it when it comes to rape and sexual allegations and stuff, but you know what? Women have been known to lie about it. They used to tell us, children don't lie about sex. They don't know anything about that. And then we found out that they did lie, and they can lie, and they do lie about it. And we're told, well, women don't lie about sexual. Well, we find out that women do lie. We've known for centuries that men lie about their sexual prowess, and they lie all the time. Good and bad. There's no denying that. But we also know that women lie, and that men are going to jail because of women's lies. Just saying.
Listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
The most politically incorrect black man in America. You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Bumpers like that, this makes the program sound so professional. I mean, it makes it sound like the big guys out there who are internationally syndicated. I gotta tell you, it sounds pretty good. I love when I get stuff like that. But anyway, last night or yesterday, I didn't market this at all, and next month I will. But I returned to the airwaves on 90.7 FM in Manchester between 4 and 6 p.m. on a program called the Right Group. Now, double entendre there was intended, meaning that we're correct, because I'm almost always right, and it's a bunch of people, Christian, Bible-toting, believing people, who are conservative on the right. And it has a changing number of now as one of the person who started this program on the radio, he's a pastor, he's a minister, and he has a church in Amherst, New Hampshire. And over a year ago, from what I understand, somehow the program got started, and I was asked to join the program because of me. And when I had an agent she was very good at her job, and she brokered the whole thing. And came to realize, and he pretty much confirmed it recently, the program was designed around me. And I didn't realize it at the time. But I left the program because I just got too busy and bogged down. It was every week, and it was weekly, but I was just so busy. I couldn't handle the time frame that it took to do this program, and then to drive to a studio that was 40 minutes away, and then drive back. There was just a lot of time. So I had to, after about 9 or 10 months into this thing, I had to call it quits. Well, about a year later, he called me up and asked me to come back. And I said, well, I could do it like once a month. I can't do it every week. And I'll start when the new year starts. Now, he promoted it as me being an original member who the program was built on. That's what he said. Now, he's the founder of this thing. He's the one that put this thing together, and that's what he said. when he was marketing it to his listeners about me coming back to the program. And last night was my first appearance on the program, and I met a wonderful young woman who's a new member to the group, and her name was it Gabby? I don't know why Gabby comes to mind. 20-something, millennial, just adorable, cute little thing. She's a pretty girl, smart, well-informed, just an adorable personality, too. She's adorable. And I know some people are saying, well, you can't call a woman on the air with you as a professional like you are, right? You can't say she's adorable and you can't call her a girl. Yes, I can. I just said she was also very smart and well-informed. But one of the subjects that we discussed was the issue of legalizing prostitution and how that would affect sex trafficking. Now, prostitution in the state of New Hampshire is still pretty much highly illegal. Is as illegal as it is anywhere else where it's outside of Nevada and Texas. I think Nevada and Texas are two states that have legalized prostitution. Now, aside from being, none of us on the program last night were actually advocating for legalizing and moralizing, because when you legalize something, you're saying it's now somewhat moral, at least. So we were not all for legalizing and moralizing and promoting prostitution, but we were thinking, well, maybe it's not such a bad idea. Because she had some stats, and we all know what stats are like, statistics are like. I took statistics in college, and the old saying, there are lies, damned lies, and statistics. And we know how easily statistics can be manipulated. But she had some stats that show that legalizing prostitution only increased the activity of human trafficking, sex trafficking. Now, our counterpoint was, well, yeah, it's because in most of those places there isn't any rigid regulation or licensing. Now, understand, when it comes to government getting into your daily business, I'm not a libertarian, but I do have libertarian views that smaller government, to a certain point, is better. Now, for me to advocate that if we're going to go down the road of legalizing prostitution, that it needs to be highly regulated, is saying something. Because if you license the sex workers, and I think this is what they do in Nevada and Texas, where the women are they have mandatory health checkups, every 6 months or something like that, and they have to be licensed and make sure they're clean. And blah blah. There's all kinds of regulations. Now, when you have somebody who's regulated like that and licensed, it becomes a lot more difficult for somebody who's illicit to get involved. Now, this also means that if you make it more moralized, moral, and you decriminalize it, now you also introduce a legitimate profit potential. Again, I am not advocating for prostitution here. But when you legalize it and you moralize it and you make it there to a potential for large potential legal profits, well, you're going to get legitimate people involved in the business. And I brought up this point with a man that I watch on TV, Marcus Lemonis. Many of you may have watched him. He's got a TV program called The Prophet, where he takes his own money. And he invests in small companies that ask for his help to rescue them because they're failing. And this guy owns pieces of hundreds of companies, and he's a very wealthy individual. I think he's worth something. He's a self-made millionaire. His dad was he grew up middle class. He's a self-made millionaire. And I think he's worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 million now. But anyway, they did a special on Marcus Lemonis, the prophet, he went out to Colorado and was looking into investing in the marijuana industry where it's legal. Why? Well, because they legalized it. It's highly regulated and taxed, and they've cleaned up the industry out there. Now, sure, there's still going to be some illegal people, like there always will be, but for the most part, it's a legitimate business opportunity with a high profit potential. So now you're getting legitimate business people who are looking to invest in marijuana production, marijuana sales, and they're going to be moving into California now that California legalized, recreational pot. And this is the same thing that has happened in Las Vegas and Nevada, and the same thing that has happened in parts of Texas, where you have legitimate business people that run legitimate whorehouses, basically. If you want to, I know it's kind of an oxymoron to say that, but they do. And now that also helps clean up the industry. When you have legitimate business people who move into the arena of something and decide, well, you know what, there's too much money to be made here, and we're going to do it right, and we're going to make sure that we don't have a bunch of illegal or illicit, dirty criminals and pimps running around. And this is what happens to a lot of illegal stuff once it's made legal again. Look at alcohol. Prohibition. Alcohol was a legal product. There wasn't a lot of illegality going around with alcohol. Then they made alcohol illegal, and there was a lot of illegal activity that happened in response. Moonshine runners and rum runners and all kinds of illegal activity. And then they made it legal again, and a bunch of people decided, hey, there's a lot of potential in alcohol. And so they got involved, and we still have a bunch of these rules and regulations that were put in place back then when they re-legalized alcohol. And we may look at them as being antiquated today. But they're starting to relax some of those rules in many states, especially here in New Hampshire. And now all of a sudden, New Hampshire, because they've relaxed some of the antiquated regulations on alcohol, and now New Hampshire has got more microbreweries per capita, per person, than any other state in the union. I mean, they are all over the place. Because there's profit potential there in a legitimate business that was once considered illegitimate. Now remember, alcohol was looked down upon for years by not just fundamental Christians in this country. It was looked down upon by a lot of people who weren't even all that religious. And it was looked at, and that's how we came up with all these regulations, and it's how we got the movie Smokey and the Bandit. And do you realize Smokey and the Bandit is now historical? Because the way they were running beer, alcohol in Smokey and the Bandit was actually illegal in the 70s. Today it's not. Back then it was. We're talking just 30, 40 years ago. So we have the ability but there was still a lot of profit potential in brewing alcohol, brewing beer and spirits, and now there's this new proliferation of these, what they call craft. We have craft beers, which are the microbrews. Now we have something called craft spirits. We have, basically, they're the spirit version of the microbrewery. Small batch vodka distillers and whiskey distillers, and they're popping up all over the place. We are a very wet country right now. It's not a bad thing. What is happening is that now that as they keep relaxing the regulations, as they keep allowing legitimate business people to enter the marketplace, we're getting more, but we're getting better product. Now it's getting to the point where it's just getting, it's hard to make a decision now. I mean, you go to the the grocery store and you try to find a beer, I mean, I often go into the grocery store and see people just standing there in the beer aisle. The choices are getting ridiculous. I mean, do you go with the mini microbrew? Do you go with the microbrew? Do you go with the mega microbrew, like Sam Adams? Do you go with the national brewer like Coors or Bud or what have you? And not to mention the plethora of beers choices that they have. So, I mean, they just people stand there, well, I don't know, what do I want this time? Well, it's getting that way with the spirits. Over the holidays, I was in the New Hampshire liquor store, and I was, there's a new spirit maker out in southeast New Hampshire, just south of Keene. So I went looking for it, and they said, yeah, it's going to be on this shelf. Whiskey. And I'm standing there looking at the choices of whiskey. Do you realize that the number of shelves that it takes to display whiskey? And I'm just talking about the American version. Now, if you're facing the American whiskey, you turn around and the other shelves behind you, and it's got all the Irish and Scottish imports. And again, it's a whole aisle, almost an entire aisle's worth of imported whiskey. And you've got an aisle's worth of American whiskey. And I was frozen. I didn't know what to choose. I had no idea. So this is what happens when you start getting government out of the picture. When you do proper regulation, you do regulation right. You're able to legitimize and make things a lot more. You get rid of a lot of the illegal element. You get more competition and more choice. I mean, up to a point where you're frozen by the number of choices that you have. I was. I mean, I stood there and for literally, I was in that aisle standing there spinning around for 20 minutes trying to figure out what do I don't even know what to try. Eventually, I found the item, the distiller. I picked up a bottle of that was expensive. It was like $40 for a small bottle. And then of course you had the high end stuff. And you had the low-end stuff, and you had the average mid-range stuff. And I just said, you know what? I don't know what to. I just chose what everybody else chooses. I just grabbed a bottle of Jack Daniels along with it. But the choice can be overwhelming, but you can't get to that point if you're over-regulated or if it's overly illegal. There's no profit. There's not a lot of profit potential there. Nobody wants to get involved in it. So when it comes to legalizing prostitution in New Hampshire, if you regulate it properly, regulated right, you're just like in Colorado. And Colorado is now fine. It's a boon to the pot industry is a boon to Colorado right now. It's a cash cow for the state. So when you do it right. Not light, not heavy, but when you do it right, it can legitimize it to the point where it makes the profit potential, very acceptable to legitimate business people who then get involved, make it even more legitimate, and give you more and more choice. Now, I don't smoke pot. But I can tell you with the legalizing of cannabis in some of these states, the choices of different kinds of pot now is just absolutely astronomical. I have seen when I was watching the program with Marcus Lemonis, they were going to, we got this, this brand of pot and this brand of pot and this kind of pot and this kind of, this kind of leaf and that kind of, didn't it just used to be pot? You got it either from Hawaii or Jamaica, right? Or Mexico. That was just it. There was no specialty. But now they got flavored pots. This pot, it has a coffee kind of flavor to it. Really? Who's developing this stuff? Well, people are developing it because there's profit potential in it. And thereby, when you regulate it right, and just translate this to any industry. How about the cable industry? Still overregulated, very little competition. How about we regulate all business to the right level so we introduce maximum competition to allow for maximum choices for everybody at the best possible prices? You know who wins? Everybody, from the consumer to the business person to, yes, even government via taxes. When it's regulated right, everybody wins. Well, except for the criminal. They're the only ones that lose.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Up next, we've got the Intel report, so don't go anywhere. We got some very interesting stuff to talk about. You're not going to want to miss this stuff, so tune in, stay around, tell your friends. Intel report up next.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine. It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back to all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is I, once again, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live for hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show on this Hump Day Wednesday. It is January number 3. 3rd of January. I had somebody tell me, well, this year is kind of starting off kind of slow, Rod. Well, it's only January 1st. You gotta give it a shot, give it a chance to even get not even out of the first day yet. People are it just reminds me you can't have excessive expectations, because when you do that, you will always be disappointed. I don't care who you are. If you have excessive expectations, you're going to be disappointed. You have to be balanced by it. I mean, and excessive expectation, I don't know what he's expecting. Like, there was going to be gold showers, the real gold and silver and platinum raining down on them on the very first day of the new year. I don't know. I mean, those kind of people, I'm perplexed by people like that. The lack of we're in I guess we live in an age of excess. We expect, and we live in an age of even greater instant gratification. If something doesn't happen now, damn it, then I'm mad about it. It's not going to happen if it doesn't happen now. Well, it still takes time for some of the best stuff to happen. I think Donald Trump is proving that good stuff still does take a little bit of time. Not as long as Mitch McConnell says, he doesn't understand that these things take time. No, Mitch, they don't take that amount of time, because you've been working on this for, certain kinds of this stuff that Trump wants. You've been working on it for 8 years now. It doesn't take more time. So there's a happy medium in there. And when it comes to the foreign affairs, we have Trump doing things and saying things and tweeting out things, and people jump all over. Well, he can't do that. He can't say that. And then next thing you know, give it a little bit of time, and all of a sudden, the foreign adversary starts doing things and moving in directions that we've always wanted them to go, and they wouldn't budge before. Look, Look at Putin and Russia. By the way, can I just say that everything that Trump has done since being in office to Putin, does anybody really honestly think that that's who Putin wanted to be president? I mean, Putin can't get away with a damn thing with Trump in office. In fact, now it's just, look, Trump has done so much. He's let the generals and admirals do their jobs in the Middle East that we've decimated ISIS, so much so that Putin is not like, well, I guess there's really no reason for me to be here in the Middle East, militarily speaking, especially since Trump is now allowing Ukraine to put, offensive weapons on my border. Never would have happened with Hillary. None of this would have ever happened. Just saying. And now look what's happening in North Korea. Yeah, we got some tweets that, earlier today of Trump saying that his nuclear button is bigger than Kim Jong-il's button. Well, it's true. For what? Well, that's not what a president, that's how a president said. No, that's exactly what a president does. A president of the United States, his job is to be a leader. And sometimes being a leader means you have to be extremely intimidating to your adversary. And when you lord over little Kim Jong-il, or is it Un? I forget which one it is. When you lord over the little pot-bellied dictator up there and you say, look, great, you're getting nukes. You're developing them. Great. Just remember, dude, I got a bigger button. And I ain't afraid to use it. And now who's opened up channels? Well, you know what? He's opened up channels. The hotline on the demilitarized zone, the phone hotline, has been reopened by the North. And now and Kim Jong is now trying to assure South Korea and the Olympics. Oh, the Olympics are going to be great. We're going to send our team down there. We're going to kick ass because we're so great. But where's all the? It seems like the rhetoric of anti-West, anti-America, anti-South Korea, anti-Japan has wavered a little bit, has it not? Well, I can't speak, perfect to that kind of stuff. So that is why we have the Intel Report every Wednesday morning. And as we bring Agent 0010 on, we're going to talk a little bit about what's possibly going on in Northland, North Korea. Good morning, Agent. How are you doing?
Good morning, Rod. How are you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Groovies.
So we have Kim Jong-il now, this morning you have Trump just causing the left to have absolute heart attacks and conniptions once again about his tweeting to Kim Jong. Which one is it? Is this Il or why do I get them confused? Is this Il or Un?
Un.
This is Un. So in Spanish or French that would mean one, but I'm sure that's not what it is there. But This is he softening his position a little bit because now we've got Trump saying, "Hey, buddy, I got a bigger nuclear button than you, and I didn't get mine at Staples."
Okay, let's rewind. Let's go back in time. Does the great Rod Eccles remember when I said that North Korea is the masters at propaganda? They are masters at the art of BSing people, that they are capable of just playing the psychological game so well that the Chinese and the Russians eventually just said, hey, you guys are now the masters. We are going to learn from you. Do you remember I said that, last year? Last year?
Yes.
Well, guess what? I guess somebody else also understands that, and that is the current president of the United States. And he decided, you know what? You want to play this game? Let's play the mind game. And so far as it appears right now, he's not only winning against North Korea, but he's also winning against those that are opposing him here within the United States. While the left or the Democrats are playing checkers, he's playing chess. He's playing a more refined game, a more sophisticated game. It may look brutish at times, but he gets into your head. the fake media, the way they're having these meltdowns about, we're not fake. Yeah, you are. No, okay, you're not fake. You're a bunch of idiots pretending to be journalists. You got Don Lemon, who hosts an opinion show, and then they pass it off as it is like it's news. When ABC takes a program like The View and puts it under the category of news, they've already lost. They've already lost the game, even before it started. So therefore, the mind games that the president is playing, and he's playing it quite well with his tweets and his little innuendos and his, backhanded compliments, it's working. As far as foreign affairs wise, it's also working because, like you just stated, Kim Jong-un is saying, hey, I got a button on my desk. And Trump's response is, yeah, so do I, but mine actually works. Oh, and by the way, when it works, a bigger mushroom cloud than what you can crank out. So what do you got to say? Yeah, I'm going to call South Korea and see about chilling out for the Olympics and see if they want to get together and have some kimchi and, I don't know, maybe some imported beer. That's his reaction, basically.
Well, we've got other things going on in the Northland. I got to tell you, I don't like really calling them Norks because it makes it sound like dork, and dork can be a good thing, and Kim Jong-un is just not a good thing. So we'll call it the Northland, I guess. But is there something happening within? Because it's very hard to get information out of there, out of that. I mean, it's one of the most closed. In this modern day and age, I got to give it to them. There is a success there in North Korea, and it's not what people think. The success is in this modern day and age, being able to have such a tightly controlled and closed society where very little information true information gets out is mesmerizing to me. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But what little information that is starting to really get out and leak out is we're starting to see. Now it's only been a couple. It's only been a handful. You can count them on one hand. But it's been more than we've seen in the past decade or two. People knowing about people who are risking their lives trying to escape North Korea. Is this going to be a trend? Is there something really happening within the state of North Korea?
Well, I mean, if we take a look, okay, we have Kim Jong-un, and then there's his father and his grandfather came to an understanding that in order to control the people, you must appease the people. And hell, the Romans did it. The ancient Romans, they did it all the time. That's why, you had the Colosseum, because the people of Rome craved entertainment, and the emperors gave it to them. But in Un's case, he feels that it's not the government's responsibility to supply the people, but the people are to supply the government. He has a backward theory. And so far, it's starting. It's not like you can see like the faint hints of what might be a crack in the shell. But the fact still remains is that he's a very dangerous individual. The North Korean government is a very dangerous regime. And in fact, it's to the point that I firmly believe that the Chinese government is scared of North Korea. Now, people might sit there and wonder to themselves, well, what do you mean? Doesn't China control North Korea? You know what? You can use the same leash on a dog for the longest time. And you can use it on him when he's a puppy. But when that puppy all of a sudden becomes this almost 200-pound Rottweiler that'll rip your arm off with just a sneeze, and that leash, you can see the wear and tear on that leash, yeah, it's time for you to worry. And that's what China is. It's when this whole tension started, the Chinese sent thousands of troops to the border between them and North Korea. Now, hypothetically, let's just hypothetically say we decide we're going to invade North Korea, and it's the United States, South Korea, Japan, hell, let's even say Australia, because they're somewhere in that region in the Pacific. Well, guess what? It's not going to take 2 to 3 days to get from the border of South and North Korea to the border of North Korea and China. It's going to take months upon months because of all the fighting, because of the terrain, because of the need for supplies, so on and so forth. So it's not going to take a week. Why all of a sudden were there Chinese troops massing at the border with North Korea? It's not that they were afraid that we were going to invade China. They were afraid that North Korea would be so angry, feel so violated, so betrayed by China that they would turn their focus on China, which was a pretty stupid thing to think about because then they'd be fighting two wars on two different borders. But the fact remains is that China fears North Korea since they're developing supposedly developing a nuclear arsenal. Now, can China verify for a fact if North Korea has one or not? No, they can't. They won't be able to. Do you think North Korea actually trusts China? God, no, of course not. And it's to the point that the fear is so intense that China continues to sell oil, low-grade oil, very poor-grade oil, to the North Koreans. But the North Koreans know that it's not the best oil in the world, but it's something. And it's helping them move forward. It's helping them achieve the goal that they want. As bad as the grade oil is, it's still something. So it's like basically throwing a bone to that dog I mentioned while he's staring at your leg, salivating, saying, yeah, that's a nice calf I can chew on. Well, no. Here's a T-bone. Chew on this instead of me. That's what China is basically doing.
Now China is this South Korea has a lot to lose, obviously, if there's a war, because first of all they're just south of North Korea on the Korean Peninsula, and they're much more civilization is much more highly advanced and forward thinking than the North. Now understand that these two countries, they're the same people. I mean, it's like East and West Germany back in the day, and East and West Berlin. Family members are separated by an artificial man-made line. Literally. I mean, you got families that are split in half. Half of them are living up in the north, and half of them are living in the south, and they don't often get a chance to talk with one another. But they're two totally different societies of the same people. And we have other examples of this, as I mentioned, East and West Germany back in the Cold War days between the Soviet Union and the United States. We know that there are people who risk their life and limb by getting information into North Korea. Oftentimes they're using things like flash drives and DVDs in the form of Western movies and South Korean propaganda movies. Is this stuff starting to become more prolific inside North Korea, and thus you're getting people who are saying, hey, it's worth the risk to try to leave North Korea? Because remember, just like in the Cold War days, people were not shot by the West for trying to get into the West. People were shot by the East for trying to leave the East. So now people are being killed and shot in the North who are trying to leave the North. But these people, like we've already got 2 soldiers, and we've had a few other people on some boats that supposedly accidentally got drifted southward. But are we starting to see more and more of that kind of a crack? And could that also be what China might be afraid of? Is they don't want this mass migration of North Korean soldiers and people trying to flee North Korea?
I think the biggest, if you go to the DMZ, if you go to sections of the DMZ, you hear the South playing K-pop. Now, that alone is reason enough for me to, I don't know, shoot myself in the face. I'm sorry, don't like K-pop. It's the most annoying thing, one of the most annoying things on the planet, that and Hillary Clinton speaking. But they blast K-pop across the border. As opposed to the North Koreans, they retaliate by blasting back propaganda music. Now, don't forget, we're past an era where most of the people that had to deal with the Korean conflict, most of them are dead, or they just aren't involved. So a lot of these people, the ones that's still alive, they do remember the Korean conflict, but the ones that remain in the North, they remember it as trying to unify the country under the great flag of North Korea and socialism to bring greatness and to unify it. And the South Korean people that still remember it, they think of it as, no, you crossed the border and tried to take our stuff, and we kicked your ass. Cut and dry. And that being said, the generations after that have been brainwashed. They have been run through the ringer since basically birth on how great North Korea is, on how North Korea is the leader of the world, and obli-di, obla-da, so on and so forth. So these people are brainwashed. To break that is very, very, very difficult to do. Now, some actually get their hands on South Korean music, South Korean movies, American movies, and it could be select movies that show power and strength and stability of the United States and so on and so forth, or the wonders of that's in South Korea technologically, fashion, so on and so forth. That could all be sent over there. But it's going to take more than that. And one of the biggest influences on breaking that kind of brainwashing is suffering. And what I mean by that is demonstrate to the North Korean people, this is how the South Korean people are living. They are the same culture as you are. This is how you're living, the same culture as they are. Who do you think's got it better, Bubba? And there are movies that subtly hint to that, but do get the message across. It's not so subtle that it's lost. So to me, there's a good chance that, yes, the North Korean people might be getting their hands on these kinds of videos. But like I said, suffering is one of the greatest motivators to push people for change.
Make change, yes. Well, we got to take our break right now, and you can stay after the bottom of the hour, right?
Oh, but
got some more to go over with. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're not done yet.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, "I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar." Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, "I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar." And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Well, you know, folks, one of the things that we have to make sure that we fully understand is that the rest of the world doesn't live like we live exactly here in the USA, or the Western world, as some people say. But there are people that do, when they see it, they understand that it is a better lifestyle than what they probably have, and they are willing to risk a lot in order to get it. And I think that may be finally happening in North Korea as well. Only time will tell, so you got to be patient about it. We'll be back.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
That's what a lot of people want on the left. They think that we have this one love. Do people realize that there is more than one kind of love? There isn't just one love. In fact, the Bible makes it clear that there are, and I always, and I should not, but I always drop one of them. There are three different kinds of love. There's romantic love. There's brotherly love that you have for, your brothers, your family. You're supposed to have those kind of loves. And there's the third love, and there's the Greek words and Hebrew words, phileo love and that type of. And there are differences in the different kinds of love. There's not just one love. And people have to understand that that's important to understand. Well, words mean stuff, folks. They do. The problem with the left is they want to take the meaning out of words because they want to feel something. Anybody watch the TV program, the new Marvel thing? Oh crap! It's the teenagers who are now have special powers and stuff. But anyway. The Marvel's all over the place with stuff now, and it's hard to keep up with this. It's not a Hulu original, I don't think. It might be a Hulu original. But in any case, there's this British actor who plays one of the characters, and he uses an American accent, and he loses his British accent. Maybe he's Australian, I don't know. He's the white kid, by the way. Just saying. Because everybody else is ethnic. Yeah, Runaways. Thank you, Dom. It's called Runaways. So you have the white kid on there, and he's giving this interview about the program called The Runaways, and he says, and you got to actually watch him too, because the way he responds to this is just this one love type of attitude. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the hell he means by his response, but they ask him a question about the show, and his response is, our show has a lot of juice to it. And he's like really getting into his answer and, pumping his fist. And I'm like, really? A lot of juice? What is this one love kind of crap? There's more than one kind of love out there. And you can expand it beyond the biblical terms of love. That there's a love for your family. There's love for your country. There's a love for your God, your religion. There's all kinds of love. You've got your friendship love. How many of you you love your friends, but I'm sure there are probably some people that will answer positive to this, but most of us don't want to sleep with any of our friends. We love our friends to death, but we don't want to romantically sleep with any of them. Do we? Well, that's two different kinds of love. Right there. So there's not one love. Just say, Rod, why do you play that song? Because I like the beat. That's all there is to it. I like the beat. Can you not like? Well, I'm sure that's probably why they're trying to escape North Korea when they're playing K-pop, blasting. I'm with you, Agent. I am not a K-pop fan. I mean, you know what K-pop is? K-pop is the Korean version of Backdoor Boys and Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and all the American boy bands, the terrible boy. By the way, Justin Timberlake, I guess has a new album coming out. And you want to know what one of the music industry or entertainment industry magazines says about it? They're not really critiquing the music. I don't know what the songs are, but it's something called Backwoods or something is the title of his new album. And their title of this is Justin Timberlake embraces and celebrate his whiteness. I'm like, what? Are you kidding? This is what they're going to focus on. Justin Timberlake comes out with a new, I don't know, what this is his first new album in years, I guess. I have no idea. I don't follow the guy. He's not a kid anymore. He's in his 30s now, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't he have a kid now? I should probably know this because, you know, I'm supposed to be able to keep my finger in the pulse of the entertainment industry here for this program too, and I just don't care to know that much about these people. I really don't. I guess I'm not a groupie. But in any case, I think he's married. Is he married to Jessica Alba? Or something? I don't know. In any case, he's not a 20-something anymore. He's in his 30s, so he's supposed to be a man. And all of a sudden, this new album, he's out there in the woods with a beard and in a lake, and you know, in the photo on the album, and what an industry magazine says is that he's embracing his whiteness. So does this mean that everybody who used to love Justin Timberlake is now going to hate him? And if we actually played Justin Timberlake's, he's doing the Super Bowl, right? Well, if we pump the Super Bowl images into North Korea, will that help get more North Koreans to try to escape to the South? I know it's a dumb question, but
it would keep me personally. It would keep me in the North because my thing is, and I'm about to offend a lot of Americans right now, and I am sorry that I've offended you, but this is my personal observation. I cannot sit there for 4 damn hours watching a bunch of guys wearing skin-tight pants, broad shoulders like they're on the runway. Hi, my name's Leon. Hey, my name's Scott. And patting each other on the butt. Football is an hour-and-a-half game if you take it by the quarters and the time limit. And they extend it out to 4. No. There's more commercials than there is football. No.
During the Super Bowl, that is... Well, everybody watches the Super Bowl now for the commercials, except for the past couple of years. They've been very disappointing.
Well, what does that tell you?
They're running out of imagination. But seriously, though, what we have going on now... Well, let's take, for instance, we have a president who is now showing some strength, some leadership, and some power, which we're not used to. No. Over the past 8 years, we've had nothing but appeasement and capitulation and cowardice and cowering in fear, with occasional, spouts of temper tantrums by, the Libya thing. There was a little bit of temper tantrum there. I don't like Gaddafi. I'm going to get him. So occasional temper tantrums like that. But that didn't belay the fact that the reality is that even though he and Clinton started that mess, they didn't lead the fight. They let the British lead the fight in Libya, and the British now regret being led into that mess. But that it happened. That's historically factual. It happened. But we really didn't even have a whole hell of a lot of serious. Now I'm gonna piss some people off here. Let's think about it. We didn't have a whole hell of a lot of serious leadership for 8 years under Bush either. No, we weren't. He wasn't weak like Clinton or Obama, but he was not Reagan. And let's be honest about it. I mean, we got bogged down in Iraq and Afghanistan when we should have just been. Look, Trump's been in there in office a year, and we've decimated ISIS. I mean, and how long? 7 years of Bush. And they couldn't seem to really, they kept continually fighting because of the rules of engagement. And Trump just said, you know what? No more rules of engagement. Just kill the bastards. So that's what they've done. And in a year's time, they've decimated ISIS. So now the world is starting to see that there's some really strong leadership kind of, let's go back. It's very Reagan-esque. It's very Kennedy-esque, as in John F. Kennedy. It's Eisenhower-esque. And it's a very FDR-esque. We're not taking any crap. We're going to go after you. If you're going to play with us, we're going to play back, and we're going to play hardball. And if you look at the the Eastern Europe front, Trump is now sending equipment, not boots, not American boots on the ground yet, but he's sending equipment to Ukraine, which just sent a very powerful and strong message to Putin that there's new leadership, and it's real leadership, and it's strong leadership. And they're focusing on Trump's tweet to a little pot-bellied dictator it's a war of words up there. This guy's been using these words all along, making fools of the West. And Trump decides to play his game. Hey, guess what? My button's bigger than your button, and it works. While at the same time, he's not taunting Putin. He's actually showing Putin with military might. We're not going to take your crap. You make a move, we make a move. Do you think we're missing the translation of what he's doing is in North Korea? Is he trying to take the eyes off of Ukraine because of that's some real serious stuff there?
Let's plug this. Everything that's going on right now involves Russia. What's going on in Iran with the protests, what's going on in North Korea, and what's going on in the Ukraine. Now, what happened is that President Trump said, okay, hey, Ukraine, guess what? The previous administration sent you nothing but MREs, which is meals ready to eat, and night vision goggles. Well, you know what, guys? That really does nothing for you. The only thing you can do now is see what you're eating in the dark. That's about it. And go on patrols. Ooh, well, guess what? I'm going to send you defensive equipment, defensive weapons. Now, let's paint a picture on what's defensive and what's offensive. Offensive weapon, a tank. What is a defensive weapon? A rocket that stops a tank. There's the difference. Now, these weapons are defensive and offensive, in my honest opinion, and anybody that's in the military will tell you, in name only. Because the fact is that if this rocket can stop a tank, well, guess what? This rocket can also blow the hell up out of that building over there. This rocket could also take out that machine gun nest over there. This rocket will allow us to blast a hole in a wall that we can go through and decimate the bad guys. So offensive and defensive, basically in name only. But those names are very important. Those names are very, very important. Because why? Here's the because why. It shows that we are more concerned in the protection of the Ukraine and not in the destruction of the Russian rebels. And this makes people look good or bad. Semantics. I'm sorry. You came into my home, you kicked in the door, you brought all these people. No, excuse me. We allowed these people to come in. We allowed these people to work here in our country. And now you're going to take half of it and say, we're part of Russia now. No, that's not the way it works. That's not how it's going to work, and that's not how it's going to work ever in the future. So the president decided this is what we're going to do. We're going to send them defensive weapons. Putin also knows that these weapons are labeled offensive and defensive just for the sake of optics or the stories. So what did the Russian rebels that are occupying that region of the Ukraine do? Hey, yeah, you got some new weapons. Yeah, hey, let's do a prisoner swap. Yeah, come on. No, in good faith, you take all the prisoners that you have, and we'll take all the prisoners we have, which are more than what you have, and we'll swap out. Because Putin said so. Yeah, hey, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a new year. Let's be friends. So if anybody sits there and says that this was not handed down by Putin, guess what? You're also the same people that said Putin controls everything. that Putin is a micromanager. Now you're saying he's not. So therefore, shut up. Thank you. Because now you're contradicting yourself, and I'm doing you a favor by saying, shut up. Thank you. Now, what's going on in Iran? Russia is one of the top 5 consumers of oil in the world. Iran cranks out oil left and right. Well, guess what? Russia wants Iranian oil. And if what goes on in Iran actually happens and the people take control of their destiny as they should, if they create a democratic government that they want in Iran, Putin is not in a good position at all. So that means that he's got to depend on Syria to be his only real ally in the Middle East. And Syria is not that dependable because of what's been going on. Yeah, they booted out ISIS. That's all well and good. But guess what? Syria still has another problem. The other rebels that want autonomy from the Syrian government. They want to break away from the Syrian government, or they just want to remove the Syrian government altogether. So Putin still has a problem. Now, he's pulling troops out of Syria and sending them back to Russia, but mind you, he's pulling out troops. As far as the weapons are concerned, not so much. So,
well, because Syrians don't have really much weaponry left. It's a lot of their of their weapons were destroyed by the rebels, by ISIS, by the U.S. And so Assad is kind of left with not much to hold his country together. So, of course, they're going to leave the equipment behind. But it's a big deal to pull out. And Putin doesn't seem to be afraid that he's doing an American version of or a Russian version of Iraq. What we did in Iraq when now understand, Putin is in no way a weak leader like anywhere near like Obama. And the guy is nowhere near a neophyte and idiotic like Obama was. He knows the score. He knows what's going on. So if he's making a calculated move to move troops out of Syria and the Middle East in general, well, what would cause him to do that, honestly? I mean, is Trump really putting the screws to him in other places?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, yes. See, Hillary Clinton was extremely, extremely predictable. And you know what? Better the person I hate that I can predict than the person I like and is unpredictable. So, therefore, he wanted Clinton in office because he knew he can. It was just a simple case of, hey, Hillary, you got an issue with what we're about to do? Yes, I do. I have an issue with it. What if I send you $2 million? Oh, well, okay, that pretty much solves it. Oh, no problem. And then as far as Obama's concerned, oh, come on. Seriously? I'm drawing a line in the sand. Well, what if we cross it? I'll draw another one. What if we cross that one? I got a long stick and there's lots of sand. I can draw lots of lines. And that was basically it. So Russia and Syria kept crossing that line. They kept crossing that line. And the first thing that Obama did, where he failed miserably, is when the Russians went into Georgia and they kicked their butts. And nothing happened from the American government. Not a thing. Now, with what's happening in Iran, which is a much bigger situation than Georgia, now you have actual president saying, hey, we're supporting the people of Iran. They want democracy, and we're supporting them. And we're behind them 100%. But mind you, this is the same man that many people are running around saying he's destroying democracy. Yeah, you're an idiot. You really are. You need to connect the dots here and not come up with a picture of a giraffe. Okay, thank you. And then I got into a disagreement with one individual, and he said, well, according to WikiLeaks, and I started looking this stuff up, and I couldn't find it on WikiLeaks. He turns around and he says, and Saudi Arabia, as soon as the government in Iran collapses, the Saudi Arabian government is going to bombard and blow up the Iranian people. And I'm like, dude, you are so stupid. You probably put your treadmill on the slow setting so you don't get lost. Seriously? But you know what? I didn't say it. I said, I highly disagree, so on and so forth. That's my New Year's resolution, to be more civil and not so abrasive, which means I won't be having any fun this year. So, with all this said, Saudi Arabia does not want to kill the Iranian people. Now, how did this whole protest happen in Iran? The Iranian people got their hands on a list. And this list is organizations and how much the government is giving to these organizations. The document was leaked. And it was breaking it down to money going to Syria, money going to Iraq, money going into Hezbollah, money going to Hamas, money going to the nuclear program. It was an extensive list. And the people are like, wait a minute, whoa. Hey, Sparky?
Where's our cut?
Yeah. You got all this money to give away? How come we got to pay higher prices for the basic essentials like, I don't know, gas? And by the way, we're an oil-producing country. It should almost basically be free, and we're paying out the nose. Why are we paying extra for food? Why are we paying extra for anything? And the Iranian people, they're fed up. Now, there are these little voices that are running around in the planet saying, the United States and Israel did this. No, they did not. I can sit here and confidently tell you that it was not the United States or Israel that motivated this. And it is a country that the Iranian government refuses to acknowledge did this. And I'll tell you, it's a Middle Eastern country, and I'm not going to reveal which country it is. I'm not going to do it. But I can tell you this, it's not Israel, and it's not Iraq. It's a country that has great tensions right now with Iran, and that pretty much should say it all.
So there you go. So what we have now is in going into this new year, we have some real leadership, and world leaders all over the world are now responding and reacting to Trump and the USA versus the other way around. Good to see for a change. Well, thank you so much for that rousing report, Agent. As usual, it's very good stuff, and we're starting off the year, and things are only going to get better, folks. So you want to be here next week for next week's edition of the Intel Report. Until then, my good friend, stay safe.
That's boring. That is completely boring. You guys have a great one. Happy New Year to one and all. May the new year be prosperous, and have a blast. Bye, folks.
And we'll be back.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement,
But now, there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
That's ridiculous.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't.
We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Here it is, hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. The fastest 3 hours of internet talk radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show, powered by Zinc Media Arts. Here it is, Wednesday, Hump Day, January number 3 in the year of our Lord 2018, and we're already into the third hour of the program. Man, time just flies when you're having fun. And it is, well, I mean, it's just one of the things that's very important to remember. And I promised myself that this year I was going to try to be a little bit more, I was going to be a bit nicer to the, I don't know if I can actually do this or not, but so if you catch me like sort of trying to be a little bit more erudite than usual, it's because I'm trying to politely find polite words or polite ways of saying certain things. So my job this year, I know I'm going to fail in my first month. You know, like most people go out there and they resolve that they're going to get in shape and they join the gym. And one of the things about gym memberships this time of year is that they go way up. Gyms perfectly, they target people like this. And especially the cheap ones that, only charge $10, $15 a month, because it's usually done on a recurring basis automatically. And you go to the gym in January, and it's usually packed. I mean, it's just packed up the wazoo. And the members, people who are there, they're all year long. They know this, and they know that they have to get through January. But because by the time January comes, and then really by the time the end of February gets there, February 28th, most of the people that joined up at the end of the year for a New Year's resolution type of thing, they stop coming. Now, most of those people who stop coming, most of them fail to stop payment. Gyms know this. These workout clubs, they know this. They know. Well, I saw some stats. It was like 78% of the people who join a gym as a New Year's resolution, within the first quarter, they stop going. Now, of that 78%, more than 60% of them will fail to stop their monthly payment for an entire year. Why? Because it's only $10 a month. Most people don't even notice it. So if let's just say you have, you start the year off, you have 100 members. The year comes and you have 100 new people that come in that want to, get in shape for the year. So now you have a membership of 200. Well, by the time the first quarter is done, usually by March, but by the, February, you have 78 of those new 100 people drop out and never show up again. So let's just round it up. Well, let's round it down. You say 75 people. So now you have a base membership of 125. You're still getting, increase in membership. But of that 75, you're still getting roughly 50 of those people who are paying you $10 a month after they stop showing up. So the reality is, instead of having 125 clients on the books, you have 175 clients. But you only have to take care of 125. Well, that's what happens with New Year's resolutions. And so experts say if you want to be successful in your resolutions, don't make it a resolution. So unfortunately, I made it a resolution that this year I was going to be nicer to the left, to leftists. So we know how that's going to work. Yeah, the stats just tell us that human nature. Because I made it a resolution, it's most likely going to fail. Just saying. Just so you know. But
well, why did you make that resolution then, Rod? You should have made a resolution. You should have just made it a promise to yourself you're going to be nicer, because it's always good to be.
Well, no, I resolve to try to be nicer to liberals this year. I know some people are just they're not gonna get it. You know what leftists need to do? They need to resolve to get a sense of humor. Seriously. During the last hour with the last segment with Agent 0010 and his report, there was a person in the Spreaker chat room who seems to think that Saudi Arabia is probably shaking in their boots now, because they're similar to Iran, where they've opened up themselves up to the world. Sharia law is not very compatible with the rest of the world. It's not. And I have to disagree with that simply for the fact because we have the UAE, specifically, Dubai and Abu Dhabi and in the city, cities like that, but Dubai mostly. But you have the UAE, who is they're able to really meld the two worlds together, very amazingly. Now, when you're in the areas that are designated and designed for international commerce and international business and international this and international that, Sharia laws is very lax. It doesn't really exist in those areas within the places of Dubai. Now you go outside of those places and you get into Dubai proper. And those types of things Sharia law becomes very serious again. And then you have to understand that there's varying degrees of Sharia law now. I think Saudi Arabia is now allowing women to drive. So there is a modernizing of and reevaluating Sharia. Now, understand a lot of this stuff, like women driving. Obviously, when Sharia law was first written down by Muhammad, there weren't automobiles. And it wasn't just in Sharia. It wasn't known around the world. It doesn't matter what your culture was. For the car of the day, women just didn't normally ride a horse, at least not alone. It doesn't matter what your culture was. They just didn't normally. I mean, you were not considered a real lady if you rode a horse by yourself. And when you did ride a horse, women, how did they ride? We always had them side saddle. Well, that really did, and that's not just the West. That was all over the world where they had horses. Women typically rode the side saddle. They didn't ride by themselves. So you could say that the automobile is the modern day horse, and it is. So they're what they're doing is they're allowing women to now ride the side saddle in cars, I guess. So there is this slight melding of the different types of cultures when it comes to Sharia law, simply because they do want to. The Saudi Arabia, the EAU, United Arab Emirates, they do want to be in the 21st century. Hell, the United Arab Emirates, they want to be in the 22nd century before the rest of us. And you know what? With their money and their foresight, they're going to get there. They really are. They're going to get there before we do. Seriously, I mean, their plans are to have the most modern, futuristic cities up and running in the next decade or so. They'll get there before anybody else will. So they're building this. Now, how long can this dichotomy of cultures live together? Well, that's a different question. That's a different question altogether. So what is happening in Iran is not necessarily what's going to happen in Saudi Arabia. Now, understand that Saudi Arabia is as far as the Middle East is concerned, the people of Saudi Arabia are far more free than the people of Iran. And the people of Saudi Arabia, for the most part, are not suffering and starving, and the economies of people's personal families and lives are nowhere near as dismal in Saudi Arabia as they are in Iran. So there's a lot of dichotomies there. A lot of things going on in Iran that just isn't going to happen in Saudi Arabia, because let's face the House of Saud, the king and all the wonderful myriad of princes, not princesses, princes, they understand that unless they also want to have a revolution on their hands, a civil war, that there are certain things that they have to do. And they've been playing this delicate balancing act for the last 50 or 60 years now. And they've been doing it successfully, and I don't see them stopping. In fact, I only see them getting more successful at doing it, especially with the younger generation now taking over. And the new crown prince doing what he's doing to weed out corruption and take care of certain members of his own family that are really standing in the way of progress. There's going to be some. I think Saudi Arabia is going to continue to be able to straddle that very fine line and keep the people very, because hey, as long as you keep a chicken in every pot, you keep people well fed, well clothed, relatively healthy, a safe environment. They're not gonna protest or riot. Not in the way that they're doing in Iran. You're not even going to see them really protest too often, at all on anything in Saudi Arabia. Not just because most of it is illegal, but simply because they don't have a reason to. Because just say they're fat and happy. Now, I'm not saying that the Saudi people are dumb. They're just fat and happy. And look, we've gotten that way. We've gotten fat and happy here in the USA, but we also got a little dumb because we had Obama as president for 8 years. But hey, we've also gotten a little fat and happy too. And we were a lot fat and happy by the time 9/11/2001 came along. It was a wake-up call. And we had 8 years of 7 years of war under Bush. We got a little tired, and we're tired of this. And we got Obama. Yeah, things are going to change, and we got fat and happy again because, we were fed a bunch of lies for so long. They were not. We were led down the road of anti-freedom for 8 years. And actually, we got a bunch of people that want more of that. They're fighting for more of that. In other parts of the world, they're fighting for more freedom. Iran, they're now protesting and trying to fight for more freedom. In the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they have as much freedom as they currently want because again, they're fat and happy. They really are. South Korea. Yeah, look at South Korea versus North Korea. Do you think those people want to go anywhere near North Korea and have a regime anything like North Korea? No, because why? South Koreans are fat and happy. They're not literally fat, by the way. Just it's rare to see a fat Korean, but what's his name? Opum Gunham style. He's a rare one. But they're fat and happy. They don't want that to change. See, the problem is when you want change is when you're no longer happy and you're no longer fat. As long as you're fat and happy, you can put up with a little bit of anti-freedom. I think Benjamin Franklin warned us about that too, didn't he? I think he did. I just noticed the chat room. Sorry, well, we won't mention her name. But the South Korean people, much like the Saudis, they're fat and happy. Unlike the Iranian people, which are very skinny and unhappy right now, like many of the Syrian people, skinny and unhappy. Iraq, I don't know where Iraq is at the moment. The UAE, well, they're fat and happy, and getting fatter and happier in the UAE. But that's when change really begins to happen, is when people get skinny and unhappy. Again, if they're fat and happy, they'll put up with a little bit of inconvenience that is construed as, big government. In the United States, we were fat and happy for a long time. So we put up with big government. Now the problem is for the left, is that we weren't exactly skinny and unhappy, but we were getting there. We were starting to itch for that change. And the change came sooner than a lot of people expected. And now we've got a different view, and people are getting fat and happy again. I mean, we're getting literally too. We're getting fatter and happier. The more that we get into the Trump administration, the fatter and happier we're getting. Do you think people are going to, because they're fat and happy, do you think they're really going to be itching for change that goes back the other way anytime soon? This is where the Democrats don't get it. Liberals don't get it. People are going back to work. The left, they try to tout that, well, the unemployment number has ticked up a little bit. More people. You know why people applied? Because now you have more people who are participating in the labor force that dropped out under Obama. They're coming back into the market because there are real jobs that are being offered to them with real middle class and upper class wages being offered to them. They're getting off of government assistance. I mean, we have nearly 2 million fewer people on food stamps now than we had just a little over a year ago under Obama. So people are getting fatter and happier. They're going back to work. They're earning their own way. They're contributing to society. Do you think they're going to want to go back to the other way? Not anytime soon, no. And that's what the Democrats are missing out on. You know how you make and kings and queens and emperors all throughout history have figured this one out. How do you keep the peace among your own people? You just keep them fat and happy. That's all.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Presidential election, and a lot can happen between now and then. But you have to understand that this has a potential of being similar to, and Don brought this up in the chat room. This has the ability to be similar to what happened between Mondale and Reagan in '84. Reagan started making people fat and happy after being skinny and unhappy under Carter. And nobody wanted to go back to being skinny and unhappy because they were on their way to be really fat and happy under Reagan. which is part of the reason why Mondale, who promised to take us back to the skinny and unhappy days of Carter, that's why he got spanked in the 84 election. And if somebody does the same thing on the Democrat side come 2020, when people start getting fat and happy again, they're going to get spanked just like Mondale. Democrats don't seem to get that. Lower taxes help. Everybody benefits from lower taxes. More employment helps. Everybody benefits from more employment. Higher wages. Everybody benefits from higher wages. And increased opportunity. Everybody benefits from increased opportunity, which means less government regulation. So you make people fat and happy, and the person comes along and says, well, you need to be skinny and unhappy in order to make things better. People are not going to go for that kind of change. Nope, not at all. And they're going to get spanked in 2020 just like they did in 84. Hopefully liberals really haven't learned their lesson between then and now.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Hey, all of you liberty lovers out there in Ecclesiastes, did you see this story that came across the Twitterverse from True Pundit? NBC News defends bogus New York Times Trump-Russia story. Then WikiLeaks drops 200-plus emails proving widespread NBC collusion with Hillary. See, all this collusion that was going on, there's a lot of collusion going on out there. Let's get the raging Cajun mouth from the South. There's a lot of collusion going on out there. I'll tell you right now, it wasn't no Hillary that was doing the collusion. It was all that Trump and the Russian collusion. It wasn't no Hillary. And what we're finding out now is there's a lot of collusion going on out there all over the place. So we've got all the collusion. Well, understand first and foremost, folks, collusion for collusion's sake, most of it is not against the law. In other words, there are very few, if any, laws against collusion as we know the term and as it's being used right now. There are no laws against it. That's the other fake thing about the Mueller investigation. A lot of the stuff that they're talking about and alluding to collusion, a lot of it isn't illegal. So it really doesn't matter if it actually happened or not. It's not illegal. It's not illegal for American citizens to talk to Russian citizens or Russian diplomats. It's not illegal to talk to them at any time. There's no time cutoff. As long as money doesn't change hands for political favors or go into political coffers for American elections, there is nothing illegal about talking to Russians or a Russian ambassador, or even if Donald Trump sat down with Putin himself before he was elected president. There's nothing wrong with it, not illegal in the least. And it doesn't even matter what they discussed. Hey, Putin, if you kind of back me over here by saying over here in Russia that you'd love to see me as president, I'd be highly grateful. That's not illegal, by the way. You know what the kind of collusion that's illegal? The kind of collusion when Barack Obama sent some 300 people and millions of dollars over to Israel in order to unseat Bibi Netanyahu in their last election. That's illegal. What happened to Obama? Absolutely nothing. You're not supposed to. You can't use you can't use American taxpayer money to try to influence. By the way, folks, do you know that we have laws against the U.S. Interfering with public elections in a democratic society, in democratic countries? Do you know it's against the law for an administration to do that? Well, Obama did it in Israel. Yeah, it's against the law. Look it up. You can't send people and money to try. I know we've done it before, when trying to topple some regimes, some evil regimes. That's a little bit different. But when we're talking duly elected, elections, when we're talking, legitimate elections, it's illegal for the U.S. government to get involved in such a way. Obama did. That kind of collusion, if you want to call it collusion, is illegal. Now, if Barack Obama went over there and talked to Bibi Netanyahu's opposition, that would not have been illegal. Because it's not. But when you start campaigning and spending American dollars and using American time and hours and manpower to do that, to defeat, that becomes illegal. Just pointing that fact out, all this collusion that the left is talking about, that supposedly Trump was engaged in and his campaign, we're finding out more and more every single day. This is why they got so deep into this Mueller investigation and collusion thing, they can't get out of it now. The last thing that they expected, and I don't know why they didn't, is because liberals are just stupid. They really are just stupid. And they fully expected the American people and Donald Trump just to roll over and cry, "Uncle, oh, I'm sorry, I colluded, I'm going to resign." Is that what they really expected? I mean, that's hilarious. Anybody who knows Donald Trump as a businessman knows that was not even an option. Donald Trump resigning is not even an option in his book, in his vocabulary. Not an option. Not in his vocabulary. Not going to happen. And these people were stupid enough to believe that they could force him to do that, especially when they know that Donald Trump knew that they were all lying about him. Donald Trump is not a politician. If Donald Trump is saying, "Well, you're lying about me," do you think that's going to get him to resign? You're not going to be able to hurt his feelings. He's not Barack Obama. He's not going to, they're lying about me. I'm just going to leave. This is how stupid the left is. That they kept pressing and pressing and pressing, thinking, well, they're not going to really find out that we're the ones actually doing the collusion. I mean, seriously? Every day now, folks, the stories that are coming out it's being proven. It's the majority of the left that's doing the so-called collusion. It's the majority of the left that is doing probably something illegal in the collusion part. It's the majority of the left who's been accused of and is being now potentially prosecuted for sexual crimes. Not the right. Every time they accuse the right of doing, I've told you this time and time again, whenever a liberal points one of his fingers at you, understand that three of those fingers are pointing back at that liberal, and they're pointing the finger at you in order to try to hide the fact that they're doing the exact same thing that they're accusing you of. It has been proven time and time and time again, and now it has been proven ad nauseum. I could shout from the top of the highest mountain here in New Hampshire, from the top of Mount Washington, and say, I was right. I told everything that I have said about the left as far as it pertains to Donald Trump, that they were the ones engaging in it, they were the ones doing it, and they were trying to hide from it and trying to obfuscate the facts. It's all coming back to bite them in the ass because I was right about it. And now their own emails, their own newscasters, their own Facebook and Twitter postings are proving it. We on the right didn't have to do a damn thing. All we had to do was just wait for them to admit it. And they did. They incriminated themselves. We didn't have to have a special investigator or investigation going on because they did it all themselves. They keep pushing Julian Assange's buttons. They keep pushing him. And he keeps telling them, yo, dude and dudette, back off, man. I got some stuff here that if you don't back off, I'm going to release and you're going to regret it. And they don't back off. And he says, well, I warned you. And he publishes something and it knocks him for a loop. Well, we didn't know he had that. Well, you dumbasses, we've been telling you for the past 2 years that this stuff is going to come out if you keep pressing on it. And they don't get the picture. Folks, this is, frankly, the left is just plain dumb. You know, they always say that a smart person can be a dangerous. No, you know who's more dangerous? The dumb person. I mean, it's just absolutely it's insanity. It is utter and total and complete insanity. So you have, you know, the one thing about Julian Assange that nobody in the not even on the right, but mostly nobody on the left can definitely say this. Julian Assange has never had to retract anything or correct his statements. He's never been wrong about anything he's published because he doesn't make any of it up. Folks understand that? He doesn't make it up. People give him stuff and he investigates it the best way he can and then he publishes it. And you know what? He's never had to retract anything because he's got the documentation. Hey, Julian, that email is... Nobody ever said that. Really? Well, here's the email. It's got all the addresses on it and the watermarks and everything else to prove that it's real. Hey, maybe it is wrong, but I didn't make it wrong. So they keep pushing him. And they're doing the same thing with Donald Trump. And every time something comes out, what does Trump do? Trump is, he's the master of Twitter. What's he do? Say, look, told you. Told you the collusion was on the Hillary side. It was on the Democrat side. It had nothing to do with me or my team. Every time. And everybody knows it. Even though they think they're being big and badass by not reporting it on the nightly news, Trump reaches a far bigger audience than any of the nightly news programs do. And he just tweets it out. And he doesn't just tweet it out once. He tweets it out multiple times. And then those multiple times get retweeted. We retweeted multiple times. And yet the left still comes at him. That's just dumb. I'm sorry, but that is just dumber than dumb. Impeach 45, impeach. Hey, you know who's leaving office? Maxine, all you liberals. You guys are the ones that are being forced to resign, not Trump. And yet you still press. I mean, it's gotten so bad now where you got even even a couple of weeks ago you even had good old Nancy Pelosi with her her bad brain. Her aneurystic brain is saying it's not the time. We're not going to do this impeachment stuff. It's not the time. Because believe it or not, she got the picture. He ain't going anywhere. And if we keep moving forward, there's going to be, if we don't stop this now, look, the scuttlebutt is inside the swamp is if they can't find a way out of this this Mueller thing, more Democrats are going to fall. Right now, they are trying to find a way to save face without making it look like they're the ones that are blocking the investigation. They want it to stop. Because everything that comes out, whether it's in Washington or Hollywood or New York, it's all coming, 99% of it is coming out against Democrats, and none of it is coming out against Trump. They're the ones dropping like flies, and they're starting to realize this, and they want it to end. But they've invested so much and pushed so much, and the mainstream media isn't getting the hint. They keep pushing it, and the Democrats are now finally saying, oh, wait, it's not time for this impeachment stuff anymore. We're not doing it. There's nothing there. We're not doing it. You got Dianne Feinstein out. They tripped themselves up. Hey, this is a tax cut for the rich. The New York Times and the Washington Post said that was a lie. And even Dianne Feinstein was out there. Well, hey, you just took away a rich person's deduction for their mortgage. I thought this was a tax cut for the rich. And yet they keep pushing this stuff. It's just dumb. You got some on the Democrat and liberal side who are trying to wise up. It's a little bit late for them, though. Because they're starting to drop like flies. I mean, it's the damnedest thing. I would never, ever have predicted what we have gotten over the last 12 months. I would never have predicted this. I don't know anybody who would have. And think about it. We're starting a new year with Donald Trump just coming. They swore they would not give Donald Trump a win. I mean, they just gave this guy a humongous win. And I'm not even talking about the tax cut. You add that in there. They're running around acting like they can, because of the special election in Georgia, they're running around acting like they can win stuff back in 2018. Let me tell you, as long as the Republicans get on board with the Trump agenda and they don't screw it up over the next, 10 months, they're going to cruise to a huge victory in 2018. The Democrats know this. Some of them are not stupid. Well, they are stupid, but they're starting to wise up. But I think it may be a little bit too little, too late. But then it is the swamp and it is politics, and we are dealing with the mainstream media, so you can never count them out. That would be dumb to count out the liberal.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, there is a migration happening in this country right now, and it's a rather significant and massive migration. The dailymail.co.uk has a story that is they're utilizing United Van Line's moving study over 2017, and they have a map and they're showing what's happening. A liberal state, by the way, Orrin Hatch has decided that he's going to retire, and everybody's talking about that Mitt Romney could step in and take the seat in Utah. I mean, the guy was the governor of Massachusetts. He tried to be a senator from Massachusetts, couldn't win that, so he was governor. Then he tried to be president. Now he wants to be senator of Utah, and he's got roots in Michigan. Can the guy make up his mind where he wants to be? And just asking. Look, if the people of Utah want Mitt Romney to be their senator, that's not necessarily a good thing, but it's up to them. But speaking of Utah, they might be thanking Mitt Romney for at least moving to Utah, because according to this study of the moving patterns of Americans in 2017, Utah was one of the states where there was a high outbound departure from the state. In other words, a lot more people were moving out of Utah than moving into Utah. And most of the states that are on this list that showed a tremendous amount of, in some places it was as high as 73% of moves were leaving the state. The states that saw the biggest decrease in population in 2017, most of them are liberal states. We're talking Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky, Kansas, and Utah. Illinois, as we know, has lost so many people that they've dropped from 5th most populous state to 6th. And it's not all due to Chicago either. A lot of it was because people leave in Chicago. No, not all due to Chicago. I mean, I've had people that I saw over the holiday week that live in Chicago, and they were explaining to me what's going on in Chicago. There are two neighborhoods, basically, that are causing a lot of the crime. Now, the rest of the Chicago is pretty much still pretty safe as far as a big city is concerned. So people just stay out of those two neighborhoods. But the problem is that people aren't leaving Chicago like we thought that they were, according to these people who actually live there. It's the entire state. Because people are tired of the BS, the corruption, and the taxes. And the regulation, and the stupidity, and the corruption, and the taxes. And the places that are gaining the most population, the state that gained the most population in 2017, I know, surprisingly enough, is Idaho. But other states that are gaining more than they are losing are Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, South Dakota, Alabama, South and North Carolina, and Vermont. Yes, Vermont, not so much a shocker because New Yorkers are moving into Vermont. In Connecticut, New Yorkers, especially the tri-state area, in the New York City, Connecticut, New Jersey area, those people are moving. I just saw a program the other day on TV talking about all the wonderful things that are happening and businesses being saved in Vermont, the small general stores and things like that. And 9 out of the 10, it was, how many? They did an expose on 7 people. 6 of them moved in from New York and Connecticut. So no wonder Vermont is so liberal right now. But in any case, so you got all those people moving out of liberal states, and they're infecting more conservative states, by the way. So unfortunately, but that's just the way it is. Look, even liberals get tired of being overtaxed, overregulated, and overburdened. At least the smarter ones, anyway. And we're out of time for today. Didn't cover nearly half of what I had, so we'll try to speed things up and get through stuff tomorrow. So don't forget to be here in about 21 hours, 9 to noon, 3 hours a day is all we ask. Until then, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your hump day afternoon. See you tomorrow. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.